Welcome to Hustlesauce. It's episode 6. My name is Michael Sharkey. I'm the founder of Your Podcast Coach. As always, joined by Ryan Hartman, co-founder of Thanks.io. And I love what we're going to talk about today because we've been creating content, taking that ready, fire, aim approach. But now we go from content creation to a business because we dive into really the path of a funnel. So Ryan, what do you got?
Yeah, up on the screen here if you go to hustlesauce.info/episode 6, if you're listening to the podcast, you can get a link to the YouTube video. And you can see on the screen here, I have this really ugly 3 boxes that outline the basic funnel that a lot of people are probably familiar with from direct response marketing. If you've seen any of Russell Brunson's videos, everybody's talking about funnels. And basically, to define a funnel, basically what it is some kind of system that reliably generates you business. And as Michael, we've started with the hard part, we've created some content. Now we got to start to think about 6 episodes in, how are we going to monetize and start to build a real business out of this stuff?
Yeah. And it's like, so I'm just kind of looking at the screen here, really a lot of people, I think, maybe go to build the funnel first.
Yeah.
And I think, where we kind of came at this is we're creating some content, which I think is really, really, it's a smart way to do this, because we're learning about our business as we're building our business, which ultimately is going to make a more effective funnel down the road.
Yeah. And it's really hard to build a funnel without content. So it actually, you do yourself a favor by creating some stuff first that you can use in the funnel. So let's just walk through this right here, Michael. We're going to talk about the main basic pieces. You can get really into the nitty gritty here, but at its base, every business system, every funnel needs traffic sources. It could be just one traffic source or many. So in our case, I've just kind of scribbled out for a content type of business like this, organic podcast. That's going to be you, right? Posting to Spotify, Apple. We're going to hope to be found in those search engines. YouTube organic, all these episodes are being placed on YouTube. We're going to get a little more strategic in the future about the actual episode titles, the descriptions, tags, all the things that go into SEO. We talked a little bit about thumbnails in the last episode. We'll then get into paid traffic options like YouTube pay-per-click and Facebook pay-per-click. I do a ton of that. As you know, Facebook pay-per-click. So do stay tuned to the podcast and YouTube because we're going to have a lot of content around Facebook ads. Spotify ads is kind of a new frontier, Michael. I've dabbled. I don't know if you have yet for your podcast coach. Have you tried it yet?
It's funny. I haven't. I know that you were doing it a little bit. I was kind of letting you be a bit of a guinea pig. It makes sense. The ads, what the counter to Spotify ads is that Spotify puts so much effort in their premium, getting people to sign up for the $9, $14 a month, whatever.
Yeah.
So there's only a portion of their audience that's actually ever going to hear those ads.
True. Yeah. So I would put Spotify as sort of one of those, once you've got one of these main channel drivers, probably Facebook PPC or your organic stuff going, that becomes like a fringe traffic source, stuff you'll worry about down the road. And I also have postcards on here because with Thanks.io, I think a lot about this, using good old direct mail. But I'd probably still, my partners might be upset with me for saying this, I'd probably still put that in the fringe traffic source these days. It's just because it's a little slower. So as you build out your business, think about where the traffic is going to come from. It doesn't need to be all of these. It can be 1 or 2. If you have no money, focus on organic. If you have a little bit of bucks, I'd recommend Facebook PPC. And Mike, let me ask you, what have you done? I know you're a couple of years.
And I'll just say really, right. I was going to say, like, with this, it's, how does Russell put it? Russell always says you can earn your way in or you can buy your way in. Mm-hmm. And I think, earning is the organic, earning is the partnerships, the free stuff, but it takes work. Whereas Facebook, YouTube, you and I have spent a lot of time, on Google ads. Yep. For Your Podcast Coach. That's probably been my biggest driver of traffic. And it was really simple because I just used how to start a podcast for anybody that Googles how to start a podcast. So I added that in there only because it drove a lot of traffic, whereas we start to dive into this traffic a little bit more as far as organic, partnerships versus pay-per-click is the quality of those leads and how you generate that quality.
Yeah, and every business, there's going to be traffic sources that are relevant to every business, and every business is unique and is going to have channels that are more, they're going to fit them better.
Absolutely.
So the next thing, the reason we were actually doing this episode is on the last episode, I said, wow, we probably should start to think about building our email list. But I didn't want to talk about building an email list without talking about how that fits into this whole funnel idea. So the green box in the middle says core lead magnet that builds an email list. I still think it's true, even though it's getting tougher and tougher to get into the inbox and to get people to pay attention. The email list is definitely your most valuable asset in your business. And you were just telling me, Michael, you're cranking clients out of your email list.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing is, if there was ever one piece of advice I could give somebody, it's like, start your email list as soon as you possibly can. I don't have a huge email list, but I'm getting a lot of work from my email list. Obviously, when you get 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people, there's a lot of ways to monetize that list, but it starts with one, and how you then, send people as you're talking about right now, sending people to a lead magnet to get them to sign up, to start qualifying those leads and starting to build that list.
Yeah, and you can have a small list. It can happen relatively fast. You have a few hundred people, right, Michael? And you're pretty much at a full-time income from that list or approaching it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes.
In our case, I just have on the screen here, we're gonna start to think about the wording there. We're probably gonna do a dedicated episode to building the Hustlesauce lead magnet, but it might be something like free 10 episode series shows you the sauce behind launching an online side hustle. And depending on when you're watching this video, this might have been the way that you originally found us. We may have driven some traffic to a landing page. You might have opted in, and now you're 6 episodes into this series. And you're experiencing it. And I will note that we are strategically building our lead magnet as we go here. And that's something that you can probably think about doing if you haven't started creating content yet, or if you want to kind of take a shift in the content you're generating and think about a series of episodes that would become a lead magnet. It's a really good strategy. High leverage.
Yes. Yeah, it is. And that's just, whether you, one thing I just want to say is that you can create this content and turn it into a lead magnet that serves for your normal content, but also serves for a lead magnet. So you're basically killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You're able to create content that's good, but also send people to it. Like you don't have to go out and think, gosh, I've got to go create a bunch of new stuff just for this lead magnet. This is the front door.
Yeah, and the actual Thanks.io is a good example because I record a lot of case studies there, and a lot of those become lead magnets, but they also work down here in the blue box as conversion tools. And a lot of times I'll have a Facebook ad running that has the same exact content as the lead acquisition ad, and then I'm using the same content in my retargeting ads. So it's a really good point, Michael. All right, so once you got people coming onto the list, you need sort of an automated system or just a plan and some consistency around converting and monetizing. So I have conversion and monetization. That's the follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up stuff. And just the note here on the screen, you can see it says consistent creation of content that gets emailed. And I mentioned retargeted via paid ads. So you're going to, every time you create, you're going to put it on your channels. People are going to find it organically. You're going to email it out and say, hey, got this new case study, whatever it might be. And then you're also at the advanced level, we'll get into it. You're going to be showing some paid ads to your audience to pull them back in on from the social networks. So this content might include things like monetization content might include things like embedded links to your other projects. Michael and I are always plugging Thanks.io and your podcast coach. You might have links to affiliate offers. You may have seen us doing that sometimes in our docs. If you go to hustlesauce.info/episode 1 or episode 2, you'll probably see a little sneaky affiliate link in there for things that we've mentioned. And then eventually, as your business matures, you'll see opportunities to create your own products and services. So in the case of Hustlesauce, we don't know if we're going to do this, but maybe at some point we'll offer something. And you just want to leave that door open and think of it in the back of your head is once I have this audience, I can then build products that serve the audience and sell to them.
Yeah. And, the other thing I would say, well, a couple of things, Ryan. First of all, I think, as I'm sort of thinking out loud about future episodes, I mean, we could spend a lot of time really, really diving into, something that you are clearly familiar with. Like I'm, thinking about well, how do I retarget? And, let's talk more about the content that I retarget, things like that. so I'm going to make a request for future episodes on how you convert and how you monetize. But the other thing, like that last part, that direct services, you just don't know.
Yeah.
As you're starting your business, I think a lot of people, back to the idea is like you build this funnel or you go and you build a course, but you never really validate it. So you spend all this time and energy on saying, okay, I'm going to go build a course, and nobody buys it.
Yep.
So leave the door open to just how you might serve your customer best. We might wake up in 6 months with, 150 episodes of Hustlesauce and people saying, hey, will you, how much would you charge for consulting my new business or consulting my podcast channel or whatever? And that's where you said it. You've got to leave the door open for the opportunities to convert and monetize.
Yeah, but it also doesn't hurt to think about, you may go into your business knowing specifically what that goal is, depending on the nature of your business. So sometimes just having that in the back of your head, hey, I am going to be a consultant. I'm going to build a course about this. You can craft the content in a way that leads up to that. But that's kind of next level stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's it. That's the basics of a funnel: traffic source to a lead magnet. And then you got to convert afterwards. And in coming episodes, we're going to be digging deep on all the different things that we talked about. It's going to take lots of these episodes to get into the nitty gritty of, Spotify ads, for example, or how to construct a headline for your landing page. So stay tuned. Michael, anything else you want to add today before we get going?
No, I think this is a really good 30,000 foot view of, like you said, the funnel and really how businesses work. And I just can't wait to dive even deeper into it. So I'm good.
Great. We'll see you in the next episode, everybody.